Hopefully everything's working absolutely fine. Let me click on some buttons. There we go. Right. Me and Mike tonight, it's a quiet one. Phil is here in the chat, and I think he's been chatting to a lot of you already. So other than that, he's cracking on with a battle report edit. I've got a battle report edit which I'm doing that me and Rachel played the other day. So we've been doing that. We'll go through the chat. We'll talk about what me and Mike have done over the last week or two maybe, and then we're going to go and look at some stuff. So who have we got with us today? It's absolutely packed already. There's almost 80 of you. We've just started. So thank you to everybody, everybody who has joined.
Lots in tonight then.
Yeah, lots of people. So Akaria, Armour Freak and Horny Morny all were here very early. So thank you to you three. And then everybody else afterwards. So we have UK Pagan, Dale Barrett, the Orc Boys, Bazooka J Rambo, Phil, Tim Lawrence, the Orc Boys, Big McDanskull, Mark Potter, Adrian Trevor, Vaughan Killian, Sean Jewett, Elston Nation. I only managed to join a little bit of your chat, Elston Nation, so I apologise, but I was having all sorts of issues. What I've actually managed to do is last week we were saying that people could donate or tip or whatever, and I didn't want to keep checking my phone and stuff, but I wanted to acknowledge people when they actually donated or did a tip or something. And now I've figured out a way so that whenever somebody subscribes or does a tip during the show, it pops up on screen with your name, which is awesome. I'm loving technology right now. So in the description below, there is a link that you can click on that doesn't kick you out of the chat, and you can donate money and it pops up on screen. So that's pretty cool. Whether it works or not, we'll find out. It should do. That's why I was wasting time. Anyway, Graham Rigg, Devon Hoff Felix, greetings from California. Dance Macabre, Sonic Knight, Frank Storm, welcome Frank. The Fomorian, Brain Spider, got good old Brain Spider in. 12 Neath from Brooklyn again. Sebastian Blau, Gary Waddingham, Kenny Bickerton, James Jones. Sorry for my absence last week, was really ill. Forgive my heresy. It's not an issue, James. Thank you for joining us this week. Kenny Bickerton, hello from Canada this time. Where were you at before? Just realised that. Nathan Anderson, I am so pumped for this live chat. I have the fire extinguisher on stand. Horny Morning is from Frankfurt. And Fell Hate, yay, we get to see Mike's natural moistness today. Both of us, I think, we went. We'll talk about what we've done today, Mike, because it's super nerdy.
Yeah.
Anyway, Frost and Fists, we've got the beautiful Mythos with us. Potentially Mythos, it could be Freak, I'm not sure. And Johnny Rockstar and Sonic Knight saying Heresy. Yeah, right. That's took us a while to get through that, so I apologise. Sam's out of uniform again. Oh, it's in the wash because I was filming and it's been really hot, so I don't want to be wearing smelly clothes. So it's in the wash, and I've got my Zelda t-shirt. There we go. Anyway, what have we been doing then, Mike? Let's start by today. What have we been doing today?
We went out in the sunlight today, which makes a change because we're normally in.
But what did we do?
We were playing Pokemon Go.
I mean, it's such a great game just to get out there and do something rather than sitting indoors. So we've both been hit by the sun. You can probably see. Yeah, I think that's about as red as I get. And Mike's looking very red.
I've got a bit burnt. I think I've caught it on my nose and a bit on my arms, and that. I don't see sunlight very often.
Yeah, it was good though. A bit of walking around. Hoxton, hello from Sweden. Welcome, Hoxton. What have we been doing all week though? I've been doing Custodies, and they're taking their time, to be honest with you, because I've been bogged down with editing. I've got so much to get finished right now that I'm really running out of time. I've done, when I painted Phil, his ogre model, not actually Phil, because I don't paint Phil, just so you're aware. I've broken that down into tutorials, so there's like 5 or 6 videos as well as one full video. So the full one is going to go up on the premium part of the website, but the other 5 or 6 videos I'm actually going to break down and put on YouTube, which will be like how to paint white, really easily white, how to paint black armor, and it's again really straightforward, leather, red, and then the skin. I've been using the Scale 75 paint, so just my first use of using those paints and how they've come out. So I've got to edit that.
How have you found using them paints anyway?
Love them. They go on really smoothly, and mixing it with a little bit of medium they're just. I don't know if it's a placebo effect. Like I'm thinking they're better than the paints I've been using before, so they are better, but I'm not sure.
Have you tried using them with water as well? Are they still any good with that?
Yeah, you can
or
break
do you
them
always
down.
just use the medium? Sweet.
Water or medium. I bought some. It's basically a white part. That's what you can see there. But I've decanted some Liquitex matte medium, which I'm going to experiment with because I've got Flow Aid, drying retarder, Larmian medium, and whatever I just said this was. Matte medium. So I've got those 4, and I wanted to try them all, just to test them all.
You've been trying a lot of new things recently, haven't you?
That's the hobby, yeah. My hobby.
Well, I suppose it's a continuous thing where you're always trying new things, but like especially over the past 2-3 weeks, you've been definitely trying all sorts of new stuff.
Yeah, I like trying new techniques, new paints, new products. I spent most of the best part of the day chopping up all of the bits for that Black Dragons. Spellcrow sent me enough bits to kit out an entire company of Marines. So thank you to Philip from Spellcrow for that. But
there was a lot of stuff on that. When I saw that picture, I was like, "Wow!" You got a whole army's worth, if not more, there of bits you can use now.
Yeah, and I was almost because of the amount that's been sent, I'm debating on starting a Heresy Salamanders army, like a small force, mainly made out of infantry, some Terminators, and then maybe chucking in Vulcan or something. But that's so far down the line from the stuff that I've got to get done that it's not even worth thinking about at the moment.
Yeah.
Kablams has joined. Welcome, Kablams. Be gentle with me, says Big McDan School. Why is that? Phil March, it does work. Phil's donated. That's awesome. I wonder if I can move that up at all. Hold on. Thank you, Phil. What else have we got? Nucha 2FB. Anyone think that Grey Knights may get Primaris Marines? I definitely think they will be getting an upgrade if everybody else gets an upgrade. Grey Knights.
It'd be an interesting one. Imagine Grey Knight Primaris.
Imagine Custodes Primaris.
Ooh, yeah.
I doubt they're going to get done, but potentially. Akaria, hey everyone, before I forget, remember to address Mike as Magic Mike, and if we all ask for it tonight, we may have a Mike solo chat for 5 minutes. Message Sam. Oh, Mike, you up for that? You don't get a choice. You have to do it.
What do you mean I don't get a choice?
You have to load up your Xbox so that you can read the chat on the Xbox, and then when I disappear, you can actually talk to people by yourself. I'm well up for this. I'll go make a brew. Look, I've even got this set up. I should be able to delete me off here. Look at that. WGO in the background. Oof, beautiful. Ciao. Hope Painter's saying they work really well with water or medium. They do have a matte finish. Yes, they definitely do. They're much nicer to work with the Scale 75 paints at the moment. I've got to keep doing it. James Jones looking at rooms for my wedding reception. Man, the heat was awful today. That's not very good, James, but congratulations on the wedding. Rust Belt Blacksmith. Hello from Ohio. If you get a chance, I would love to hear what you guys think of the cover ruling on page 2 of the FAQ, which basically says mostly only infantry can get cover from most all-terrain. Yeah. Okay, well, we'll have a look at that. Let me see if I can load that up now.
I think that was something that I think Phil might have gone over on the Monday chat. I think.
Yeah.
If they're referring to the same thing on cover.
I'll load it up anyway. Let's have a look. Page 2. So page 2. Blah 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 blah. Can I set up? No. Oh, here we go. Can you clarify? No, that's wholly within. Page 2. Am I not reading this right? Somebody can just send me a picture of the actual. Oh, here we go. Found it. Got it. Right, we'll have a look at that in a minute. Solo Mike, Frost and Fists. Frost and Fists donated as well. Thank you, Frost and Fists. And he's put hashtag Magic Mike. So unfortunately, Mike, I think people are donating to have you maybe do a little solo session later on. Yeah, you better get your Xbox loaded in advance. I'm just telling you now.
Please don't do it to me. I
think that was different. Was that super? That is super chat. So we've got super chat engaged and the PayPal engaged. This is Tipception. Donateception. I don't know. Anyway, what were we talking about? We were talking about what I've been doing. So custodies. Now I've got 20 of them to do. I'm almost on the final stages now. I've got all the dry brushing or edge. I was going to do edge highlighting on the gold, but I've changed my mind. I'm just pretty much going to dry brush it. Then I've got to pick out all the reds and the blues, and then the power weapons, and then they're done effectively. So
are you still batching the whole lot in one go?
I'm doing all of the custodians, so 20 custodian guard, and then I've got the 2 dreadnoughts and the Land Raider, and then I've got the 3, whatever they are, Psychers and 2 Assassins to do. And that's Rachel's army done after that point, so I can move on to the Black Dragons. The other thing... Now, I don't know if anybody saw this. Von Killian. Thank you, Von Killian. Another one through Super Chat. You guys are a great channel and the community helps give me motivation to paint the hordes of Death Corps. Have a shekel. Thank you very much, Von Killian. What was I about to do? Right, so Mark at Wordforge Games, and to be fair, the guys there as well, so Matt Dell and Jamie and Steve, who all work there, have very nicely cast me up these claws, and this is only one bag of about 4 or 5, so I made these out of plastic card, the little protectors that go on the end on paintbrushes and stuff, and I basically made about 6 different variants of these blades and then got them to cast them up for me, and now they're a little bit they're softer than normal resin or plastic, but it doesn't look like they're brittle, they're not going to break, so I'm going to put them on the Black Dragons and have some really nicely converted models, and when they work it'll be fantastic. Akaria, does this work? That's interesting. It's popped up in the chat but it hasn't popped up on the screen. I don't know what you did different. I've got to go so I can do the audio on the back in a bit. Thank you, Akaria. I think that's come through. It has, there we go, it's just delayed. So maybe, I don't know if the PayPal's quicker than the Super Chat, maybe not. But thank you, Akaria, much appreciated. Oh, it's gotten real with the Super Chat enabled. Yeah, we only just did it. The other reason we were looking at, we've basically monetized the account, but we've not turned any of the adverts on because we said we didn't want to turn adverts on. We were, trying to do stuff without advertising and slowing down people watching videos, so you can watch a playlist without having to go through all of the adverts and all that. However, looking around quite a bit, it seems that if you're not monetized, you don't get advertised by YouTube, which kind of makes sense because it's in their interest to show videos which are going to be making YouTube money and not advertising video channels that don't do that. So we've tried it with monetization just to see if it increases the amount of traffic we get to the channel, because most of the stuff we get is from you lot sharing our channel and telling your friends and your hobby communities about us, which we absolutely appreciate, but we would like YouTube to maybe spread the channel a little bit more. So for now we've turned on Super Chat and yeah, it's looking quite good. Thank you very much so far. Is this the equivalent? This is from Johnny Rockstar. Is this like the equivalent of tucking dollar bills in Mike's thong?
I'm not even going to fuel this. I'm just going to stay quiet.
You started it. You started this last week by talking about Magic Mike. And now
it's because someone said Magic Mike in the chat.
And now the hashtag started and you're like, oh, I quite like it actually. People calling me Magic Mike, I quite like it. This is what happens, Mike. They've gone silent trying to figure out the conversion rate of the colonies. Right, so the Rust Belt Blacksmith, if you're behind a building with a tank, for example, and it's not in it or on it, no cover, yeah. Okay, so let's talk about this now then before we go on to what Mike's been doing. Because I know what Mike's been doing.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so basically, if you have, it's what Rust Belt just said. If you have a tank which is completely obscured, you can be 90% obscured behind a wall, but you're not on any sort of scenery, you won't get a cover save. Which, narratively or thematically doesn't make sense, does it? It's not even thematically. No. Realistically, it doesn't make sense that you can be behind some scenery and not get the cover save. However, everything we know has changed about the new edition, so this is the way they're playing it at the moment, and they've FAQ'd it to say that that is correct, the way that they've done it. It says
because if vehicles and monsters are like completely on the terrain piece, do they get a cover save then?
you have to. So it says, do units that are not infantry, and then in brackets vehicles and monsters, etc., gain the benefit of cover from woods and ruins, etc., if they are at least 50% obscured by that piece of terrain, but are not actually on or within it. And then it says no, unless they are infantry, such a unit must meet the two following conditions to gain the benefit of cover. All of its models must be either on or within the terrain, and it must be at least 50% obscured from the point of view of the firer. So not only do you have to be on the scenery, you have to be 50% obscured as well. So unless the scenery is going to be, if you've got a big cityscape and your buildings are quite open, or you class huge areas as terrain or cover, then big stuff isn't going to get cover saves.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be difficult to even attempt to get cover with some of the models. If you think of a Wraith Knight and Imperial Knight, and on that sort of scale, most boards it's going to be extremely difficult to find that sort of cover where you can at least be on it as well, let alone being 50% obscured as well.
However, we have seen how difficult it is to take down tanks. It's a lot harder. You can't one-hit a tank now. Well, you can with certain weapons, but you don't get the lucky penetrating shot which blows up a tank anymore.
Yeah.
So maybe they don't need cover. They're costed to a point that Games Workshop have obviously looked at their rules and decided that they can't go into cover. They can't easily get a cover save, and they've costed them because of this. So maybe it's worked out. They play tested it. They play tested this game a lot more than they have with anything else. So I just keep playing it. And although the rule just seems daft that you can be 90% obscured but not in some scenery and you don't get the save, maybe it's just like, it's a game of toy soldiers. Just don't worry about it. They're going to survive anyway.
Well, the thing is now vehicles they've got their own saves anyway, didn't they? Because was it? I don't know if because it's been a while since I played 7th now, but wasn't it a case of you were only getting a save on a vehicle if it was night fighting or you jinked and stuff like that before?
Sorry, somebody's just subscribed, but I don't know how to pronounce that name. I think that was in, I don't know what language that was in. Maybe Russian? Thank you for the subscription. And it also speeds up the game, doesn't it? Cover. You know how many times is it slowed down when you're stooping down to look at line of sight and seeing if something actually gets a save, and you're arguing over 50%. I think most of that's gone now. You just go, it's not.
Well, there was that and all the awkward bits of like what's front facing, how much, and then all the other cover rules mingled into that. It ended up causing arguments half the time in games.
Oh well. Let's go through the chat a little bit more, and then we'll go to what you've been doing.
Yep.
So Phil's already said he's going off. He's got to do the back rep. You guys are such flash kits. Speaking of, I'm about to build some flash kits. Are your favourite, aren't they? Mike?
Yes, for I think if I was going to do an Arc Army, I'd want to do just completely flash kits. Although there's a lot of detail in the model, so doing an entire army, I think, would take me quite a bit of time.
Russell Higgins is also saying the lovely and talented Kablams is in the house. I haven't seen many of his posts lately, but they are worth a gander. Yes, they are. I think he's been working on some nice scenery pieces recently. Some plasticard Gothic ruins. Worth looking at them. Kenny Bickerton, question that's probably been answered before, but are you guys planning on doing any back reps with the community? We are definitely planning on it. At the moment, we're struggling. We are struggling to get one battle report done every week at the moment, on top of all of the painting tutorials and actual painting and everything else. I think once our armies have got built and painted and we can slow down on that, we can speed up on the battle reports and getting more people involved on those. At the moment, we don't want to say, yes, we're going to have a game every week with somebody from the community, because if we can't commit to that, we don't want to mess people around. So we are looking into scheduling it. I always get moaned at for saying that wrong. Basically, you have a calendar up on the website which will show you the days which are bookable, and if you want to come down for a game, you can book it in. But we haven't put that up on the website yet because it's not doable right now. But we are definitely going to be doing more in future. Kenny, thank you for that question.
It's like one thing we need to do though as well is like we need to start trying to better play some games in general, just so we get more familiar with the armies, so that obviously when it comes to battle reports, then there's going to be less mistakes. that we're going to make in that.
Yeah.
And also it should hopefully mean that the battle reports would be quicker to record as well.
Yeah, it's definitely been the last 2 battle reports I've done are 8th edition. The first one was, well, I had some mistakes. There weren't major mistakes, but there were definitely mistakes. It was my first game of 8. The second game, there probably were more mistakes, but from that first one and highlighting some of the issues, I remembered in the second game not to make them again. And because there wasn't that many the first time, there wasn't a whole lot of problems the second time either. But the games are a lot faster. Rachel's, what Rachel's like with slowing down the game anyway, because she has to work out every possible. She's like Conrad Kurz of playing 40k. She has a vision and she works out every single path that she can go down and then decides which one to actually go with. But it's not done in the same sort of speed as Kurz in her head. It's done over a 40-minute period in front of you, so you just properly slow down waiting for her to decide. So the game, it was getting to points where I was just saying, Rachel, just make a choice and just go with it. And if it doesn't work, it's not going to be the end of the world. But that's an interesting battle report when it's out on Sunday. Right, Mike needs a steel pole. Yeah. And Sean Jewett says there's one just out of shot. There definitely is. I've been to Mike's house and it's just to his right hand side. There's just one little pole there for him. More like hiding bills in Phil's beard. Yes. I'm going to move because I'm quite comfortable. Saw the Kablam's version of the Manchester Worker Bee for a marine shoulder pad. Incredible work. Yes, watched that as well. Cutting out shoulder pad decals in very small, thin plastic card, and the trial and error that went alongside that as well. Definitely got patience for that. What else do we have? Do vehicles have 360-degree fire arc in 8? The rules are unclear and specify if the shooting model can see the target model. Yes, it does have. As far as I'm aware, it's 360-degree line, 360-degree arc of fire. Or buildings.
Does it matter on what side the weapon's on? Because before, if you were going to need to shoot across yourself, you couldn't do it, could you?
As far as I know, you can basically class the whole model as the model. I don't know. This is the thing, we were deciding whether you fire the weapon from the base, from the gun, or from any part of the model. Maybe that needs clarifying, because I don't know. Josh is saying yes, the 360-degree of fire and line of sight normal now. Am I... Oh, it's skipped. Am I the only one who thinks 35 for a single pose miniature is a lot? Outrageous. So this is probably in reference to the new Primaris Marines, the Librarian and the Captain, and they're £22.50, I think, in pounds. They are quite expensive. I mean, the highest individual character for that sort of blister pack that there was before was about £18, and that was the previous Librarians that came out for Space Marines. And it is an expensive price, but I don't know. The bigger models, I'm not going to justify it, from that side of things, it is expensive. And when you look at the price of the pack of Reavers that have come out and the Intercessors, although they are easy build models, it's £10 for 3 Reavers or £10 for 5 Intercessors, which is just insanely good value when you compare it to a Librarian or a Captain at £22.50. So I don't know, maybe GW's just gone, yeah, we're going to chuck out these £50 boxes, we're going to put out these Christmas deals, we're going to put out these cheaper, still nice models, but easy fit models that you can still convert, and then we're going to put the prices up on the characters, and it probably will even it out. And if you're the type of person who wants to convert your normal Intercessors into Captains and Librarians, you're onto an absolute winner, because it's going to cost you next to nothing to get an army done. If you want to buy every character that comes out, it is going to be expensive.
Just a quick one thrown out there. Do you think they ever do pricing based on the rules for the models?
Yes. Yeah, and you know what? I think they did it on points for a while, and still, I always thought about 100 points. Thank you, Brandon Hutchins, for subscribing. I think it was about £100 was the equivalent of 100 points at one stage. Not 100 points. Might have been points. No, it was 1,000 points. I don't even know. I worked it out, and it was basically when they brought out a new model, the cost of it was almost the price of the points for it in the game. In the ratio that I was working it out. It's gone out of proportion now because you've got all sorts of characters. But
well, the thing is when we started seeing the expensive characters, you had that in Sigma, didn't you, with the Stormcast and stuff? I can't remember the names for them. That you had like the one of the Stormcast with the bow and wings. Because I think that was
Yeah,
25.
25. Yeah.
Although yes, although in that box you had the two different options to build it.
Yeah.
But I think that's where we started to see that creep on the individual models. But then it was like I think when we spoke about this before in the chat, it's the models as well. You're just starting to see more and more detail on everything.
Yeah. Yeah, the models are getting much better, aren't they? Let's be honest.
But then they do like the oh, you might have to help me with the name
Thank you,
the
Alex.
boxes where they had Gilliman in.
Yeah,
I can't remember the name of the box.
I forgot now. You've made me forget. I knew what it was.
What was it? Because Phil struggled to say
Storm,
it.
Gathering Storm.
Triumvirate.
Triumvirate of the Primarch, yeah.
Yeah, like that box. It's you're saving in them. If you compare it to normally where you're paying the 20 quid per character model, you were making a saving on them boxes anyway. So it sort of balances out like in the end.
Right, let's get through some of this chat and then we'll talk about what you've done and then we'll get onto the topics because we're already 40 minutes in. Well, it's actually less than that.
Are we?
No, we did the pre-show thing, didn't we, to stack it up. So it was about 15 minutes for that. So,
okay.
Yeah, we're not that far in, but we've spent a while just going through the chat.
I was going to say that's gone quite quick tonight.
I started this from Giovanni Ars. Giovanni Ars. I started to actually get on the 40k tabletop version with 8th edition starter set. My biggest question is what's the difference between index and the codex and which one is worth getting? Okay, so the index is a quick update for all of the armies of 40k. So it's rather than having... okay, we'll talk about codex. So the index is a collection of all of the Xenos armies, or a majority of the Xenos armies, and the Chaos and the Imperium all bundled together, and it basically just gives you the rules for all of it so that you can play them in the new edition, and it's just a mass update. The Codexes are going to be more like £20 to £30, and it's going to be based on one of those factions. So in that index, you might have Craft Worlds, Dark Eldar, Harlequins. Whereas the Codex, when that comes out, it will just be Dark Eldar, or it will just be Craft Worlds Eldar, or it will just be Harlequins. But inside that Codex, they're going to have a lot more information. So we're going to go on to that in a moment. The two topics we've got tonight, there's only two topics that we've actually picked, and that is WGO Chronicles, which is looking at our Facebook group and everybody that's been posting on there because there's some fantastic stuff again this week. And the second topic was the FAQ, the codexes and the FAQs that go with that as well. So they're the two things we're looking at. And the Orc Boys has donated £5. So thank you very much for that, the Orc Boys. Glad to help. And it does help as well. It's much appreciated. Right, so what else do we have? Sounds like you can get around that ruling with basing the bottom of your forests or adding sidewalks to buildings. So that's Frost and Fitz talking about the scenery again. Surreal, I remember the first time I came into the live show and there were 7 people. Yes, thank you very much, everybody who's joined us. What are we on now? Almost 6 months, aren't we? 5, 6 months.
I'm trying to think. It was because I think what didn't the very first one go up? Was it January or February?
Well, this is chat 21, so there's been 21 weeks.
Because I think the first month or so there might have been 1 or 2 live chats, and there was all there was on the channel at that point, I think.
Yeah, it's been just over 5 months then. So in that time, we've gone from 7 watchers to over 100 now. So we appreciate everybody who's joined us every week as well, and the fact that we do these almost 3 times a week now, don't we? We've got Monday musings with Phil. We've got the Wednesday chat, which is whoever turns up, and Friday is you and me, which is basically Wednesday and Friday is you and me. What we might do is we'll have Mike, and we were maybe looking at doing a Tuesday. I don't know, because there's so many channels doing live shows on a Wednesday. We were looking at maybe different days to see if people were available on Tuesday. You'll have to let us know if you're going to be if people are available on a Tuesday, or if we should just stick to the Wednesday and not worry about other channels. But we could do a show like Rachel's on a Thursday, Rachel on a Friday, I don't know, Mike on a Tuesday. It would be absolutely awesome. Right, vehicles are tough. This is from Johnny Rockstar again. Vehicles are tough enough anyway, cover isn't needed. And that's what we were saying. There's another one. Joshua Hatch, the big thing is you don't have to rotate your tank to get the sponsons to line up the shot. So odd-shaped vehicles don't have to move their nose or front hatch to be able to fire. Yeah. Frost and Fist, vehicles are tough. Even my Wolfen couldn't one-shot a Rhino. Okay. Yeah, and Russell Higgins is saying, they heard you were here. That is the only plausible answer. Yeah, as soon as Surreal joins, there's like 50,000 people who follow him. I've just seen Kabam's Phil's abandoned Wednesday shows. No, he's not. He's basically done the Monday, which is his own show on a Monday, and the Wednesday he's basically really busy working with his real life job. So he's got a very big, busy, tough job that he has to do in real life, and that takes a lot of time. He's obviously got his family on top of that, and then he's doing as much editing as he can in the background. So his time is very limited. So he's got the choice of.
Well, I think a lot of the times, like that Monday night was where he could start getting on with the hobby. So I think the idea where Phil was looking at doing it is that was a day where he was spare to do it and could get on with hobby whilst chatting to everyone in the live stream.
Yeah. And the other thing is, he's got a choice at the moment. Tonight, he said, I can come on the chat, or I can do the editing on the bat report that he needed to finish. So it's between those two choices, and unfortunately, we need to get content out as well. So the chats can only be done so much. So that's why Phil isn't on tonight. But it means more editing's done. So silver linings and all that. Oh, there's been loads of chat. There's been loads. I need to catch up. Let's just go through. So Mr. Craggham Gaming's joined. Welcome, Craig. I'll have to play some Overwatch, although I did download Black Ops again, so I'll be playing that soon, I think. If I ever get a break. Let's keep going through this then. Surreal. Wow, Mike's got more WGO spirit than Sam. Yes, Mike is the WGO champion. I'm a lowly minion. The hopeless Brit. Also, you only get a fixed pose. Yeah, the models are fixed poses. They can be converted quite a bit though. And Akari is saying, will there be multi-pose Primaris and Reavers? And I can almost 100% say there will be. However, I thought there'd be 100% a Primaris Codex first, and there isn't, so we'll have to see about that. And then Frost and Fist is saying, it's okay, Surreal, it's a Zelda shirt. It is. Like I said, my shirt is in the wash, and it's really warm today, and we were out playing Pokemon, so I don't really want to get into a nasty shirt, Surreal, I apologise. I might have to get different coloured WGO t-shirts. I might get a green one with it on, and a blue and a white one and things. That'd be cool. Sammy's a day walker though. Oh, it's because Akari is saying sunlight is the mortal enemy of the ginger. Yes, it is. Me and Rachel don't go out in the day. It's just not worth it. Devon Hoff Felix needing some painting reassurance. I'm thinking of making my Dark Eldar's armour magenta, but I'm doubting my choice. Do you think it can be pulled off? Yeah, pulled off. It definitely can. Certainly do. I did a deep red Dark Eldar colour scheme on the website. See if we can get it loaded up. What else do we have? How to paint Space Wolf Dreadnoughts. That must have gone up tonight. How do I go to it? Channels, tutorials. Oh no, we can do it through Dark Eldar, can't we? Faction, 40k, Dark Eldar. Do we reckon the sub-faction, there will be sub-faction bonuses? Yes, I think they've got to be. 4 cups of coffee. It's a good name. Hello. Donations fancy. Yes, we've put donations on, and we've had some tonight as well, which is fantastic. So thank you again for that. Damn, I forgot to tag my last post of the Knights of Caliban. 107 people watching and 20 likes. Not everybody. I don't know if you can like the post if you don't have an account. Somebody will have to let us know. Or whether it's just, I don't know, people just don't. I mean, we haven't got our disliker, which is a bit disappointing. Straight away, the first 5 minutes of a show.
There's still time though, Sam.
Yeah, they've been on all the other ones of our videos. Dislike instantly as soon as it goes off.
So, like, as far as the YouTube front goes, like I think me and you discussed this before. It's like it was a long time before I actually made an account on YouTube. I didn't know why I hadn't done it, but then found as soon as I'd done it, it meant if there was ever, I'm just going to use WGO as an example. It's easier. Not that I'm trying to push it, but like if you're enjoying the content and stuff and you're subscribed, you can then get notifications and that when things are going to be going live or when new content's gone up. It's easier then just to know what's going on.
We've got the 2 dislikes straight away. Oh, it's gone down to 1. Okay. Nafe 1980. Thank you very much. Right, I have found this. One sec. Browser. How do I bring it up? There we go. I'm not going to go on it because I don't know my password for the website. It's a long password, so I don't know it immediately. But that is the red armour that I did on there, and it's just a base coat and 2 edge highlights and maybe a wash to do that red. Comes out quite nice. Anyway, we'll get rid of that. Browser gone, so we can look at Mike's beautiful face. Right. Coloured shirts for the win, says Kablams. Yeah. What is this real life? I've heard this mentioned a few times on the interwebs, says Elgren. It's just not worth having one, Elgren, to be honest with you. And Vaughan Killian, I have to watch these before work at lunch because it's only 1:30 p.m. Primaris Codex Sebastian. I think it has been confirmed, but confirmed there will be no such thing. They will be in the Marine Codex. Yeah, I'm actually disappointed about that. I don't think they will be able to chat if they don't have an account. It was me, I dislike them all. Cheers, Surreal. Kablams, I have an instant dislike of 2. They are odd fellows. It's just mad, isn't it? I wouldn't mind if people tell you, I don't like your face. I'm going to get loads of comments after this saying, I don't like your face. But, like if something's dislikable, let us know and then we can look at it and we could say, yeah, we can't change that.
Well, that's the thing, is it'd be like with any dislikes, and it'd be nice to know what the dislike is for rather than just leaving you guessing.
Devon Hoff Felix says, thanks, I'll check out that tutorial. It's really quick. Those the Dark Eldar ones were really fun to actually do. So there's the blue one, green, red and yellow. The yellow one you can watch just for having an account for free on the website, so it's worth just making an account to see that one. The other 3 are premium, but they're a bit longer than the other ones.
So you were tempted at one point to Dark Eldar army as well, weren't you?
Yeah, they're really nice models. The Dark Eldar range as a whole is a fantastic range of models, and yeah, they're really fun to paint. And if you like edge highlighting, they're even better. 1 Spaz 11. Hi, first time able to catch live. Welcome, Spaz. Codexes need to definitely not take any steps back and provide lore and rules for individual chapters. Yeah, we'll look at that. Mr. Cragham's getting a phantom disliker as well. I think it's best just not to worry about it. I kind of miss the dislike. Oh, someone's changed it from a dislike, so that's obviously somebody just trying to appease us. Be right back. Just going to undercoat these interceptors while I still have some light. Your face displeases me, says Kablams. Armor Freak says, needs more beard. I say beer. I just need to keep shaving, really. Acaria, it really upsets some people on the video for my daughter. Sam, you could print WGO logo on white t-shirts and turn the O black so you can stay cool in the summer. I'll speak to Phil because we can actually get white t-shirts with the logo on. I should have just bought that. Surreal. Sam plus more beard equals less Rachel. Yeah, Rachel doesn't like me growing the beard because she says I look like a tramp, which is not nice. Was I the only one who took the hook for disliking Sam's face? Way to go, guys. I mean, the bullying, it was open then. Anybody could have joined in, but it was only you Kablams. Congratulations for joining in. I'm disappointed by the rest of you. Right, Mike, what have you been doing this week? Let's speed this up.
Not as much as previous weeks. I think I've taken a bit more of a backseat with the Chronicles at the minute, just because I could feel myself starting to burn out a little bit, just because I'd been like each day that's all I'd been working on. So where I think it might have been last week, I'd say, like I was finding it okay going through them, because what I'd be doing is, as I was batch painting the entire army, I'd do so much, then jump to Gilliman to do a little bit, then back to them and stuff. So past couple of days, I've not really done too much on them. But so from tonight, probably tomorrow, I'll jump back on them and start trying to nail out as much as possible and get some more pictures up. But I'm all right at the minute. The Ultramarines are. I think I've still got several base coats still to put down across the entire army. And then there's still quite a bit to go on them, but I'll try and get as many pictures up on the Facebook page as possible.
Yeah. But you've just been cracking on, haven't you? This week you've been playing Pokemon Go. Last week you were nailing out the painting. And I think tonight we'll both be painting again.
I've spent a bit more time outside this week, just because when I start painting, I'll sit there all day long, and that can go on for days. So I do need to see sunlight every now and then.
Yeah. Eddie's just messaged me saying YouTube chat died on the Xbox again with dislikes on YouTube. Some users set up bots that prowl for live streams and auto dislike them. That's a lot of effort to go to. That's incredible.
Yeah.
For our German audience, a hobo is a penner. I quite like that. Anyway, let's get on with some stuff, shall we? Let's look at codexes. And I have called them codexes and not codices, and that's from GW. And somebody's already asked the question, are they not called codices? And they said, no, this is the 40k when I've clicked on something. They said this is Warhammer 40k where they're called codexes. Right, so what have they said? So very soon you're going to see new codexes. Each one of these tomes will be an invaluable resource on a faction within the 41st millennium and the Warhammer 40k game. So while the indexes provide the platform for every army to play from day one of the new edition with all their models, the codexes will be where the incredible depth and rich background of the galaxy really manifests on the tabletop. They can't release codexes for every faction on the same day, and they're basically playtesting it, and they're expecting around 10 codexes before Christmas, which is quite a chunk of codexes, to be honest, between now and the end of the year. And Space Marines is coming later this month, so that's the first one that's coming out. Winter's SEO. Welcome, Winter's SEO. When I get round to watching your content, it is awesome, so thank you for producing that. Space Marines. So, I mean, Primaris and Space Marines are bundled together. It's saying that will be swiftly followed by the Grey Knights and the Chaos Space Marines, with Death Guard not far behind, because the Death Guard are going to be getting their own codex with the Mortarion in there as well, I imagine. What can you expect from the new codexes? So, army-specific stratagems, which are going to be a lot more thematic, a lot more... they're going to be more related to your actual army rather than the generic ones that you're allowed to choose from at the moment. They useful abilities are available to your army via command points, can change the course of the battle in a moment, from sudden orbital bombardments to desperate acts of heroism. As well as stratagems, there'll be relics, warlord traits, tactical objectives, and psychic powers for your army. You'll be able to pick your warlord traits and psychic powers, meaning that you can decide what sort of character you want your army to have. Maybe your warlord is a tactical genius, or your officer a proud duelist or inspirational leader. By combining all of these options, you'll be rewarded for building the kind of army you want to play. All in all, I think that's the way it works really well. I like the way that they've done the codexes or the battle tomes for Age of Sigmar. I like the fact that if you stick to one faction, you're rewarded by the extra thematic rules. So it's not a bad thing that they're doing that. For you gamers out there, one very exciting addition are new rules representing specific subgroups in many of the major factions. These range from old classics like the Space Marine chapters or Chaos Space Marine legions to returning rules for individual craft worlds or Necron dynasties. And then it's also got the background. What else is it saying? Stuff in you for every type of gamer, from those of you wanting to build narrative thematic armies true to the story and the character of the faction, to those looking for competitive match play forces. And then we've got the FAQ, which we'll look at in a moment. So first things first, I thought Primaris were going to get their own codex, and I was expecting a much larger amount of miniatures to be released so that you could do a Primaris army as a standalone. So I'm a bit disappointed about that, and that I've got to kind of take Space Marines to fill out all of the specializations. But what do you think, Mike?
Well, me and you we had a short discussion about it earlier on before the chat on it, because you were hoping that they would have their own thing, so your army was completely different then. But I said for a while I was expecting them to be all in one, just because they are still Marines. But I don't think it's that bad, because I know you've got worries that you're going to be limited on like the variation on units compared to all the standard Marines. But I think you've still got all the stuff in the Dark Imperium so far. You've got the Reavers to come. There is going to be a Terminator unit as well. You've got at least the one vehicle that I think I'd seen somewhere there's going to be two options for it. It's going to be more of a shooty one, and then there's the one that everyone's in the pictures for. You've got the Dreadnought as well. What else was there? Probably more characters and stuff. But each of them units are going to have the different variations in the box anyway. Whether that's 2 or 3 variations in there, I think you will be you're going to cover most of the standard Marine units anyway with the options you'll have in them boxes. And I know you went on to say about you're not going to have the variation on tanks as the standard Marines go, but I think. Like I just said with the rest of the units, I think you're going to be covered because they're Primaris, and obviously it's the newest thing. I think they'll have that many options, and the options will be good. That you'll be absolutely fine. That you won't need to mix in with the normal Marines.
I had to turn off my microphone, sorry, because Stewie was deciding to drink for like an hour. Thank you to Lucas who just subscribed. I think there's potential for a Codex out later on down the line. I'm just a bit, oh, Stewie, packaging drinking. It's just endless. I think it's going to be, I don't know. I was tempted to maybe, if I hadn't already spent the amount that I have on Primaris already and committed to Black Dragons, I think I would have done Guard. But I've gone too far down the line now to switch to Guard.
Well, I think there'll be as low once we get a chance to have a look at the Codex as well. I think you may be more set at ease with it, because I think you're worrying about something you're not going to need to worry about. I think you'll be absolutely fine for the variation in the army.
Mm-hmm. Let's just quickly check the chat because it's been going again. That rabbit is so thirsty, apparently. So Winters SEO says, Grey Knights Codex coming soon. Do you think they might be getting some new minis? Interesting point. Grey Knights do not have access to Primaris Marines at this time. But we said at the beginning, didn't we, that they could get Primaris style Grey Knights. So whether they will get their own units, which are going to be Primarist, or whether they will just be allowed access to them. I doubt they'll get access. I think if anything, they will be having their own unique unit, which will be a similar thing. They might not even call them Primaris. They might call them Grey Knights something or other. As long as they don't put them in a giant baby carrier, I don't mind. Imagine that, mini baby carriers, just loads of them, just an army of them.
Well, it's like I was saying to you earlier with the new codexes and stuff, where they are having them staggered. I think with some of them, and I don't think you've gone on to it yet, but in that Marine codex, that's not including Space Wolves, Dark Angels, Blood Angels, maybe 1 or 2 others. I think they're not included in that one. But I think it will be the reason that they're not, and that they're getting their own ones, and we don't know when that will be, is because the likelihood they are going to be getting new models. Yeah. So that's just my opinion on it. But the thing would be is if they release them codexes now, you'd be seeing all of the new stuff that's coming. So that's why they wouldn't do it at this point.
I mean, I think the other thing to think of is there's 10 books coming out before Christmas, and chances are a lot of those will be Imperial, Space Marines. I think we might see Grey Knights, Space Wolves, or Dark Angels before Christmas. At least one of those, unless they're together, are they? I don't know. Grey Knights definitely aren't anyway.
Well, what if they in the picture you've got the codexes are showing you what Space Marines, Death Guard, Grey Knights, and one other, wasn't there? It's in that picture.
Chaos Space Marines, yeah.
Yeah, so I would say that they're definitely going to be ones you're going to see before Christmas, and they may even be the 4 that we're going to see first.
1 second.
And the other one, it might be okay.
Rachel's deciding to herd Stewie back in, like he's a sheep.
Do you want me to carry on or hold fast?
Yeah, we'll carry on. Rachel's just come upstairs to talk about how cute the rabbit is. It's just been drinking for like the last 10 minutes straight. Rach, what were we talking about, Mike?
Right. So I think they will be the next 4 codexes, but the other one it might be a case of is as they are progressing the 40k story now is. There may be things that's going to happen in the story, and as to why they are further further behind on some of the codexes coming out is because there might be big things that are happening in the story that will be given away if those books were to come out early on.
Excessive magnetization saying Winters, you are the best, and then in brackets, no offense, Sam. Kablam's stage 1 has become the elimination of bio. Oh, they're talking about Skynet. Never mind, let's keep going. So Harry Painter's saying, oh, Surreal saying, anyone else notice the minute Sam gets on track, we go rogue in the chat? Yes, I have noticed, Surreal. The Harry Painter saying, what's the new faction they said would be at launch? I don't know whether that's miniatures or thank you, Elgrun, for subscribing. I don't know whether it's, what was I saying? I don't know whether that was Nurgle as a separate faction or whether they were thinking Primaris was going to be a new faction even though it's not got its own codex, because it could be that Primaris were the new faction they were talking about, and that even if they're bundled into the same faction...
That's what it was. It's going to be Death Guard and the Primaris is where they were saying the new ones, because obviously the Primaris did get some new chapters as well. So that's where I'm thinking that was the new factions.
Yeah, it's probably, I mean, it is, they're saying here, Ryan's saying new faction was probably the Death Guard as they've only been moulded with Chaos Space Marines. Big Mac Danscore says, I've been drinking like that today, to be fair. Like the rapid, just constant. I think Danscore works outside, at least in a van or a tractor or something, some big machine, so he's probably been baking in that today.
Oh, the one thing I've just thought of actually, on the Primaris, on their actual data sheets, do they have their own keyword, as in Primaris Space Marine?
I think so, yeah. I think they say Primaris.
It may be a case of where they're saying about there'll be different, obviously there'll be chapter rules and stuff in that Space Marine Codex, is that the Primaris have their own thing. So therefore, if you are running just a Primaris army, you will get benefits and bonuses to that for doing it.
Yeah, I'll be happy with that. That'll be fine. Kabam saying, did you anyone see the photo of the hover tank covered in guns? Seems legit. Yeah, I quite liked it.
Yes.
I thought that was cool. You know, if Primaris are getting that, stuff's going to die. I doubt it though. It's definitely a Photoshop job. It's legit. It's called the Repulsor. Yeah, I think that was the normal tank, wasn't it? There was one which had like 1,000 guns photoshopped onto it. It looked like a fortress.
Yeah.
Excessive magnetization. I'm still.
I think I saw that picture. Like, I must have just woken up and I saw the picture. I was like, I had to look at it. I was thinking, really? I was like, wow, that's a lot of guns. And then it dawned on me later on as I'd woken up more and looked at it. Yeah, that's not real.
Reminded me of that old. What was it? It was a Stomper, I think. Somebody converted a Stomper and it had like 1,000 guns coming off its back. You've seen it before.
Yeah.
That thing was awesome. Excessive magnetization says is still all about the Primarchs. I hope they're holding off on Space Wolves and Dark Angel codexes so they can turn out Russ and the Lion. Yeah, I think if they bring out the Lion, I will be buying Dark Angels. I might keep some of these Primaris aside to do a Dark Angel.
I think there's a lot of interesting stuff to come, and I think there'll be shocks on whether the things are brought into the universe or not. Yeah. And I think it's good times in a minute, and everything's moving in the right direction.
Yeah. Surreal saying, I thought the insects where Mike is were just getting louder. There's not been any ghost orbs or insects flying past you as much tonight, has there? Your windows all shut.
I've not noticed any. Yeah, well, I normally have to have the door shut. But it's because I normally have the back door open all day long, so I get too hot. So that could be where these mystery flying things come from.
I'm talking about Primarchs.
That really is ghosts.
I've been listening to, oh, for God's sakes, what is it called? Deliverance Lost. Corax is awesome. I mean, I've listened to him popping into different.
Just remember, no spoilers, Sam.
Yeah, but I mean, just read or listen to that book because it's brilliant. And I keep saying to myself that the Black Dragons are a successor chapter of the Raven Guard, not the Salamanders, and that's what I'm saying in my head. So I'm listening to all this Raven Guard chapter stuff. And I'm kind of tweaking that in my head to what my Black Dragons are going to be. But I do like Corax. Primaris isn't new. It's just an upgrade to sell more models, yeah. My Primarch is the only new one confirmed, says Elgren. Is that Mortarion? Magic Mike Primaris is indeed a keyword. There you go, Mike.
Yeah.
Sonic Knight says, listen, I don't even care if it's Horus Heresy only. I still want the lion. I think we all do, Sonic. Let's all focus our efforts and we'll pray the Games Workshop design team that will be the next one.
Well, we don't forget. Don't forget on the community page though as well, Sam. Is they had put pictures at where I think it was a lion's head or something we'd seen, and it could be a possibility of this lion. Just don't know, because the thing is, you don't know how far. Some of these pictures that we saw months ago, we still haven't actually seen any new models for that from them pictures. So I don't know if it's going to be a year away or if it's something that's going to be soon.
I'm just reading the chat now. It's getting quite interesting. There's a lot. Surreal. I just read that verse 1, chapter 1 of the GW Bible. Make more money. Thordalim de Caladai, welcome. If you have Betrayal at Calth, use the lion with those. Yeah. Now this one, listener says, I want a civil war between the lion and the Ultra Smurf. I think that would be an awesome civil war. You know what? I want Corax to come back now. Corax at the moment is probably up there as one of my favourite Primarchs, just from listening to a half of this audiobook. He's awesome. He's such a brilliant Primarch. He's properly switched on. He looks after his Legion. His Legion are all pretty switched on as well. And even with the Alpha Legion that are mixed in there, I don't like Alpha Legion. They're too the same. I know that's the whole deal. But Corax is awesome. Rogor Dawn is the next Primarch for Horus Heresy. Rogor Dawn's getting, in Deliverance Lost, Rogor Dawn is actually quite cool in that as well. I'm never normally a fan of him. Raven Guard, Heresy books are great. Sam, up there with Nemesis for my favourites. And Sean Blake has joined. Welcome, Sean. I want a model for the Emperor. I ripped the head off my Emperor model. So if anybody has seen... I've destroyed my Emperor
But you
model.
say the head, there was quite a bit of it that came with it.
I'm going to see if I can bring it up on the website. Emperor. Thank you, Signor. I don't even know if this will load. Oh, come on. Why is that not loading? The search part of our website doesn't work very well. The search bar, anyway. You have to then go into the categories to find what you want. And unfortunately, there isn't one for the Emperor. Where are you? Well, you can't even really see it. I don't know where that might be a tutorial that's not out yet. Down here, though, there's a model I made for the Emperor. It's the Perturabo Forge-Rod one with a big sword, which is from Archeon, and then Perturabo's head with a sculpted hood on it. And Luke, one of our friends, kept badgering me about ripping the head off and giving it a normal head, and I basically ripped that off, and it ripped the entire cloak and all of its back off, and now I need to rebuild it, so he's in pieces. So my Emperor model is dead. Gonna have to work on him again. Right, what we got next then? Let's talk about the FAQ, which came through as well. And then the last part, we'll look at the community. We'll go into that afterwards. So, after this Codex update, there's all of this of what you need to know. What's in each Codex? So each Codex is a dedicated book about a single faction from the Warhammer 40k setting and game. They contain a wealth of inspirational background, artwork, heraldry, and miniatures photography for that army, and because that faction is the sole focus of the book, they contain far more detailed army-specific rules than we could ever hope to cover in the index books. Thank you, Nick Marcel, for subscribing. So I like that. I like that, a good half or at least a third of the books now, probably more actually, it might be 2/3 of the book is background and artwork, and only the final part is the rules. I think they make the books much more longer lasting, so even if they bring out new rules, there's a lot of stuff in the Codex that you're going to want to keep. Chapter Master Valrak, another YouTuber who has an awesome channel. Welcome, Chapter Master Valrak, saying, bring me all the Codex. I think there's going to be a lot of them on the way. what's the difference between a codex and an index book? So I don't know who was asking this earlier in the chat, but this is the difference. The index lets you play with your Warhammer 40k until the codex for your faction is released. The idea being that the rules for the units in the codexes eventually supersede the rules for them presented in the index books. Is my index invalid? And it's saying no, it's not invalid yet, but it will be when the new codex comes out. And they've said that, you know, because an index contains maybe 4 armies, 4 factions, when your codex comes out for one of those factions, the index will still be relevant because the other 3 won't necessarily have. And thank you for subscribing, Chapter Master Valrak. The other 3 won't necessarily have codexes at that point. So for the £15 you paid for an index, or less if you bought it from an independent retailer, they're still relevant. So,
I think you're going to cover this in a minute, because when I first said to you, I don't think I've seen this FAQ. I think I'd gone through this. Is with that, although you're going to go into it anyway, but I thought I'll say it now before I forget. Is that with them indexes, although they're saying about the actual main codex will overwrite it, I think it does go on to say you can still use the index and that lot still, but all you need to do is make sure that you and your opponent agree on that and that they're all okay with it. And they were saying about tournaments and stuff like that, you'll need to use the codex then.
You say that, but that's as much as saying, you know, if you don't like playing 2nd edition, if you don't want to play 8th edition, you can play 7th, 6th, 5th or 4th. That's the same level. If you're going to go to any tournament, any official event, or to be fair, most stores, and even at your clubs, you're going to be playing the latest version of the rules. I think them saying it's still usable is always usable if you decide not to play the new stuff, but a lot of times you generally move on to the newer rules. That's the point.
No, but at least they're putting it out there. They're saying you can still do it.
I know, but if Games Workshop said no, you can't play with you bought 7th edition, you're not allowed to play 7th edition anymore. It's your rules at that point. They can't stop you. You don't want to play the new versions of anything. You don't have to. That's the whole point. What else we got? I just bought Index Imperium 1. What should I do with it? Just like, throw it in the bin. You'll want to keep hold of your index. Codex Space Marines doesn't include rules for playing with Blood Angels, Dark Angels, Space Wolves, Death Watch or Grey Knights armies, so you'll still need the Index Imperium 1 to play with those. You'll also need it for some of the more unusual models, such as the 30th anniversary model, the Legion of the Damned and the Terminus Ultra Land Raider. Which is interesting because they haven't said that the Primaris Rhino, you know, the Command Rhino from Warhammer World, that thing might still be in the new Space Marine Codex.
I think they cover Forge World stuff later on.
It's not Forge World, it's the Warhammer World special pack. You know where you get the command tank. You get 2 command tanks. What are the first of these new codexes? So first of all, Space Marines, then they've got Chaos Space Marines, Grey Knights and Death Guard. If I have Blood Angels, Dark Angels or Space Wolves, will I need to buy the codex to use my army? You don't have to. Other Space Marine factions not covered in the new codex will continue to use all the data sheets, rules and points value in the index until their own codex is released. What? So this is interesting. Rules for new models not covered in the index, like the upcoming Redemptor Dreadnought, will be available in the box with the model, and matched play points for these units will be made available online. I'm not a fan of that. You know, if you're going to be buying a brand new codex like Space Marines and they haven't got the rules for the Redemptor Dreadnought in there when it's part of that faction.
Oh, I didn't read that bit earlier.
Didn't.
So that means then with this codex is it doesn't, because I think I said it to you earlier. I mean, if they bring the codex out, it means all the Primaris stuff are going to be out like this month as well.
Yeah.
That means then, so there might be a lot more still to come then, Tom.
That's I don't know what I feel about that. You know, if they're going to bring out a Primaris faction book, and now Stewie's decided to jump around his cage. He's like, I've had a drink, I'm all feeling good, and now I'm going to trash my cage. Whatever, nice one, Stewie. If they bring out a Primaris book later on down the line, fair enough, you know. But if they're going to say it's part of the Space Marine Codex and they're going to release that before they've released all of the Primaris rules, and you have to then download and put little sheets of paper in your codex, I don't know how I feel about that.
Yeah, it's a bit of an annoying one.
We'll have to see. I'm not going to be all negative on it because, you know, I don't like to dwell on negativity, but if that's the way it is, then I am not going to be happy with that bit. How long do I have to wait? Yeah, so they're going to be out before Christmas, 10 of them are. Which factions are getting a codex? Every major faction. Martin Thompson, so you need to buy the Redemptor before seeing the rules on it. That could get expensive. Yeah, it could. Took me a while to work out what this random marine in the index was with the special edition model, yes. I wish the ebooks and e-codexes would be updated via download for the lifetime of the product. You pay once and that's it. Yeah, we've always said that, Akai. It would be something that's worth as a bonus to buying a digital version, because I think they're the same price as the physical copy. Rabbit thinks it can do a better job hosting, says Surreal. It probably can, Surreal. Probably would. Right, let's keep going then. So, what's in the codex that's not in the index? We've already been through that, so it's the background. So you've got background, new rules, new specific stratagems, which are for your army, relics, warlord traits, tactical objectives, psychic powers, and more. So there's quite a lot in there. No negativity. Be happy like Grandfather Elgren. Got that backwards. Are the rules changing? Yes. So this is the other thing. If you bought the indexes, the codexes will most likely have different rules and different points. So it's not like it's just the tweaker points. They're going to be changing the rules for units as well, which is going to be constantly relearning stuff. Can be good, it can be bad. Are the points changing? Yes. For some units, points for match play games will change. This sometimes represents feedback from you guys playing games out there in the world, more playtesting, or sometimes because the unit now has new abilities or synergizes differently. I've not got an issue with that. You know, if you're going to update a codex, update the rules and points if it works. What about you? Do that for April Fools.
Yeah, I'm the same.
You guys do the audio, but put your pets on the screen and dress them like you. If I put Khaleesi the Husky on screen next to the Rabbit Stewie, there would be a lot of blood. But we could try it for the hashtag for the channel. They're going to be in hardback format as well, so they haven't said they're going to be doing softback yet. I imagine there will be ebooks, but for the moment, hardback. Will they cover units from Forge World? They won't, but Forge World will be releasing their own books. Vaughan Killian donated through Super Chat. You guys are a great channel and the community helps give me the motivation. Another donation from Vaughan Killian. Thank you very much, Vaughan. I massively appreciate it. Did that not come up in the chat though? Unless that was from earlier and it's just put it through again for some reason. I don't know. Thank you again anyway, you got 2 shout outs, Vaughan. Can I combine units from the index and a codex into one army? You can use units with updated data sheets alongside units from the index. So yeah, you can do that. Can I choose to use the rules and or points for units from my index instead? And that's the thing where it's saying in your own games, yes. And if your opponent agrees, yes. But otherwise, no. And then if you've got any feedback or questions, email them or go to their Facebook page. So that's all of the codex stuff. Quite a bit, actually. Nope, that was old from Vaughan Killian. That's weird, isn't it? That it's popped up twice. My donations. Oh, it's Super Chat, so it's separate to the Streamlabs link that I've got in the description. So I can't even check Super Chat yet. Right, let's get to the best part of the show. How do I turn off that? Turn off chat. Turn off chat. There we go. Let's go through the chat and then we'll go through the Facebook page and we'll see what's going off on there because there's quite a lot. So the Hairy Painter's saying the lion's head is an elf for AOS. We said that, didn't we? That it could be the White Lion character or one of their models. Dawn's one of my favourites as Big McDan School. I'd never liked him because I think he's as stubborn as I am. Did you get paid twice, lol, says James Jones. No, I think it was the pop-up from the thing that I used, the pop-up that's popped it up twice. It definitely hasn't gone in the chat because the super chat thing, I mean, this is the first day I've been playing around with the chat stuff, so I don't know, but in the actual chat itself, it pops up with a big colour and tells you when some donations have gone through. Whereas if you do the link in the description, it's done through it's done through PayPal. Because I think the YouTube stuff, if you do super chat, I think YouTube take about 30 or 40%, Whereas if you do it through the description, through PayPal, then it's all through to PayPal, and we just pay the PayPal fees, and that's it. But it's whichever way people prefer to do it, to be fair. Yes, and Surreal's just said that Super Chat takes a giant chunk, try to direct people straight to the PayPal. So PayPal is much preferred, but it's whichever you'd rather send money to. Martin, how will a GW adjust points on units and weapons when the codexes are released? Will there be an updated index every year, or do you think the FAQ will update each codex as more and more get released? Yeah, that'll be in the codexes, Martin, I think. And they've obviously got that battle tome, what was it, General's Handbook equivalent. I can't remember what it was called, but that'll be out with updates as well. Sean Blake says, Mike ever play the, and then that's just stopped. Don't know what stopped. And apparently Akari has spoke to the sculpt himself and is planning to get Dawn done by for this year or January. Bring me all the codex, let's keep going. Quite a bit behind, as always. We just get carried away, Mike, don't we? Say we, it's always me. It's just me. You're really on track.
Well, I thought normally you were quite good at keeping up with it all.
I'm doing my best. Shivrio saying I bought templates and scatter dice that have never been used. Yeah, the amount of cards that Phil's got, and he just, I think on what was it, 8th edition released on the launch day, he just picked up this big massive pile of cards and just went, right, they're all for the bin. I was like, don't put them in the bin. People will still use them. What did I miss? Said Phil. Not much then. No, there's not been much, Phil. Do that for. Oh, I've seen that one already. That sounds like 1 million views. That's having all of the rabbit and the dogs doing the show instead. Sam, give me a photo of the rabbit and the dog, and I'll do the rest. Right, so Nathan Anderson said, hey Sam, what are you using as a HQ for the custodians? I'm using, this is for Rachel's army, so it's not mine, but she likes psychers, and to try and get the maximum amount of custodian guard in the army, she's got the most bog standard HQs, which are the Primaris psychers from the Astra Telepathica. They're about 4 power each, I think, or 2 power each. They're quite cheap. So she's got 3 of them in a 2,000 point army, and in a 1,000 point army, did I say 3 in 2,000?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then 2 of them in a 1,000 point. So that's the bare minimum. I think she's having 1 patrol detachment, and then whichever detachment. I think it's the Vanguard detachment, which allows her to take 3 HQs and one HQ and 3 elites. So she's using 1 patrol and 1 Vanguard, which gives her 1 extra command point on top of the 3 that she gets for being battle forged. So she's got 4 points at 1,000 points with the custodians, and so that's her list for 1,000. It's 2 primary psychers, 2 Vindica assassins because she's got no long range, and she's got 2 units of 5 custodian guard, and then 1 Contempt's dreadnought. Does the rabbit's horns and pointy tail show? Or is it a shape changer into rabbit form? It's shape changed constantly. It's got red eyes, so you look at him directly, he just frees and then he kills you. Sean Blake, you guys are part of the PMP Google Plus group. Yes, I am. I've joined it. I don't know what I'm doing with the Google Plus groups, to be honest, Sean. I keep getting emails and I keep clicking on it to look at people's updates, but that's about it. Okay, so we've been going for an hour and a half, an hour and 15 actually. Let's go to the best part of the show, in my opinion. Right, so I asked everybody, because we've had loads and loads of posts on this Facebook group while the week's been going. I mean, let's just keep it going. Right. Facebook. So if you're on Facebook and you haven't already joined this group, go on to the top search bar, type in Wargamer online space community, and join the group, and you get accepted into it. And you can basically post up all your miniatures, pictures you've been working on, and ask questions as well. We've had a lot of people join. I think we're on almost 600 members now, 62 new. So we're getting more and more people, and it's just such a nice community to be a part of. It's all hobby related. So every day you just get people posting their updates on their armies. How do I close chat? There we go. Get people posting their updates on their armies and asking questions. It's brilliant stuff. So feel free to join that. Because there's been so many links, so many posts, I wanted to try and collate all of the stuff related to Wargaming Online Chronicles, which is our army building event, which is going on until pretty much the end of July. And it's designed to build a 1,000 point or 50 power point army for 8th edition. And so many people have got involved, and we're just going to go through. And I've told everyone, you've got one picture to put up so far. We'll have a look afterwards through the rest of the Facebook group. But for now, we're just going to go through and see what people have actually put down, because even this is quite a long one, just from this afternoon. So from the top, we've got Craggham. This is Mr. Craggham Gaming. So he's put, here you go, Squire, last finished unit for my Flesh Tearers additional forces. Sadly, no Primaris completed yet. So nice paint job there with some nice weathering on it. We've got Sean Olsen with his wonderful Raven Guard. He's done some great freehand symbols on here as well, and he's pumping these out rapidly. So Sean's doing a cracking job on this. I need to sit up, I think, because I need to press some buttons to zoom in if I need. Oh, dear me. Right. We have James Phoenician Turner. So he's doing his batch of intercessors, hellblasters, and the lieutenant at the same time, which is admirable. You'll have to let me know, James, where you get these tops from, what they're from, because that seems like a very efficient way to mount your models, much better than even cork, I would say. If you just have one like lid that one pot that you screw the lid onto as you're working on it, that seems like a genius method. So I know I'm going on to your your painting process, but I quite like that. Dave Wright. So Dave is an awesome Games Workshop manager, and he's been working on some awesome Nurgle models. He's got some great conversions in his army as well, which I've seen already. One of his, I think it's the Lord model, Contagion, has got the Iron Jaws head, like just a random bare-faced head, which is holding. And this one's got some conversion bits on it, I think, as well. Actually, I don't know what's converted on there. Just look great, though. Richard Olsbrook, he hasn't been doing his Wargamer Chronicles, but he has been working on some buildings, and they look really fantastic, nice and weathered. Bert Vergowen, colour test, so he's working on Primaris as well. Just don't know if they are Space Wolves or another chapter of Space Wolves, but they're looking very fancy indeed. Gianni Verta.
Is that the ones with the really bright shoulders?
Yeah, red and black with the yellow symbol.
Yeah, they stood out to me the other day. I was like, oh, I like that.
Yeah, they're quite nice. Gianni, I think they're in Crimson Fists. Nice edge highlighting from what I can see. I don't think I can zoom in much more, unfortunately. Yeah. Then we've got Doug Prott. So I think these are Mantis Warriors. He's doing an awesome job. He's just batching these out really quickly. Got some nice highlighting on them, some great bases, brilliant symbols. I don't know if they're decals from Fallout Hobbies or if they're from somewhere else. They're quite nice. Jamie Jackson, so he's working on a Vindicator. I think that's part of the WGO Chronicles because he's giving that away on his Instagram page. He's working on that. Crusade, alternative scheme for Necrons. Nice colour scheme actually. Have you seen that one, Mike? Like a pale green with the orange weapons. That's really nice.
I think we posted up. I don't know if it was over the weekend or late last week, and there was quite a number of pictures that he posted up of the army. I really like because you don't normally see any of the Necrons other than silver, so it was really nice to see them. And I think he posted up a Marine army as well.
Yeah, is that further down there then? I haven't gone down this yet. I'll have a look.
No, that's not on that bit. This was from last week, I think. That he posted like a lot more pictures of it.
Okay, I'll have a look. Tim Lawrence is saying just assembly for him because he hasn't done the painting yet, but he's done Lieutenant, 3 Hellblaster squads, and an Inceptor squad. I think that's what 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 500 and almost 600 points if you're doing it points, or 50 power. He's got it down to. Eddie Brennan, he's been working on his what are they called? Gilded Lions, I think they're called. He's absolutely just stomping through his, isn't he? He's golden.
That's the gold Marines, isn't it? Yeah.
Gold or brass. Doing a really nice job on them.
He's smashing it. There's a lot of people that they're getting their armies done really quick.
Yeah.
And I'm just thinking, I wish I could catch. I need to catch up. I need to smash these out a bit faster now.
Just going to accept. Oh, somebody's already accepted them. That's probably Phil. Tom Wilson. So he's decided to do 2 armies for WGO Chronicles, and he's on the first 5 Poxwalkers. I'm liking the Poxwalkers now. I'm seeing more of them painted.
Yeah, they've got so much for what they are. They've got so much detail on, especially in the face.
This is Henrik. Yeah, Henrik Carlson. He's doing Katachan with Cadian bits as well as some Chaos Marauder heads. Done some nice conversions on those with cool bases. Ian James working on his Primaris. Some pieces at the moment. Sons of Antaeus. Dale Barrett. Not sure what chapter is that? Dark Angels? Yeah, Dark Angels. Nice progress, nice weathering. There's just so many. Pink's done his Tau Battlesuit Commander. And he's done a fantastic job painting that, hasn't he? His painting's coming on so much.
Is it finished now, is it? So I'm trying to think, it might have been last week that I last saw it. I don't think I've seen all of the posts that have been put up in that in them comments yet.
I know I was up till
I need to go back and have a
5 or
look.
6 one of the mornings, and Pink was still on. He was busy painting this at that time in the morning. I was like, "Why are you up? You normally bed by like 9 or 10." But he was up doing that. Mo, some Cadian. That's a nice colour scheme. Almost like Penal Legion, like orange trousers and black armour. I really like that. Marty Milligan. Recently finished Ragnar. It's a nice conversion. Not sure what the base of that model is. It's the conversion kit chainsword, I think, though. That's cool. Mark Potter, test model for an Astra Militarum regiment to go with his Riser Adeptus Mechanicus army. His Mechanicus army is really nice, isn't it? Proper bright orange.
Yes. It's good use of the orange. I'm starting to see quite a few more armies because it was something I never really used to see much of was orange armies, and there seems to be quite a few, especially on the community page. They're posting where they've done used orange as the main colour and that, and I quite like it because it's one of those colours that it stands out from a mile away.
Yeah, definitely. We're on to Phil's conversions now. I think he's done some head swaps. He's done his nice custom bases that he's been working on, but he's on to his Magi or Magi, Maguses, Magusai, Magnuses, John Knus. Not part of my own army, but the most recent item to clear my workspace. It's a Deathwatch character. And a giant shield. Those shields are huge, aren't they? Paul Elston. So Elstonation, he doesn't do anything by small amounts. We've just got the picture of his 1,000 Sun company, I think.
There's a lot of models there.
There's a lot of red. He just batches those. You know what? I might see if I can get him to do base coats for me. Like just batching all of these base coats out and then just sending them back so I can paint detail. Jeez.
I think he had the problem the other day when he posted. You might be saying the same thing. Yeah. That he was going back to tidy up everything, and then he'd done all that, was going on to the next colour, and then noticed there was one model.
Yeah,
and how many times have we all done that? There's one model that you've got.
Johnny Rockstar, green and purple seem to be the thing at the moment. That's his Harlequins. I really like his Harlequin colour scheme. I think it's the purple. If you paint anything purple, I'm instantly liking it. And the green contrasts quite nicely. It's not a bright green. It's almost like a turquoise. Gary Waddingham doing Harlequins as well with purple and black. Very nice airbrushing job with some stencil work on there as well. A lot of Harlequins in it, I'm noticing now. Right, so that is everything that was posted this afternoon on that post. Let's have a quick look, see what's gone off in the chat other than Wargamer Chronicles. If anybody wants to join in on this as well, just join the Facebook group. You don't even have to join the Facebook group, to be honest. Just hashtag it as this WGO Chronicles and put it up on Instagram, do a YouTube video or do any sort of tagging on there, and we can find it. We can have a look and see what people have been working on. But you've got till the end of July, so we're only on what, 5th of July now, so you've got almost a whole month to do 1,000 points or 50 powers worth of an army. And I've got to get Rachel's Custodians finished before I even start my Black Dragons, so I've got a while to go. Graham Riggs saying the boy's gonna stomp Primrose Marines. And Elston Nation saying, yeah, I can help you out if you need some batch painting base coats done. That's awesome, Elston. That's Geiger's torso and legs. That's interesting. Didn't notice that. What's going off in the chat? Kiblam's ordered 5 Talus today so I can start my Chronicles project. And Hoxton, I'm not going to succeed in getting my Chan to 1,000 points. I realised it feels like you get a lot of guard for 1,000 points. Yes, the idea is that you fill it with tanks as well, Hoxton. Tanks, heavy weapons, and sentinels. James Jones, this has inspired me to post mine. That's awesome. And Armour Freak saying so many Purdy models on the Facebook group. It is inspiring. When I wake up in the morning and I can't be bothered to do anything, I look at the Facebook group first and I go through and scroll through as much as I can, and then I'm like, okay, time to get on with some models. Let's just go up and paint.
It's been amazing with the page growing more and more, with people joining it. There's so much things going on. It's difficult to keep up with. I'm finding, especially like over the past couple of days, there's so many posts. It's trying to make sure you get to see them all, because it's constant, it's all day and all night long. There's posts going up, everyone's commenting, liking people posting, everyone's sort of having conversations as these posts are going up on the page as well. So it's been amazing.
Yeah, it's really fantastic. Akai has just posted up this thing from Fallout Hobbies, the Mariner's Blight, and I was saying to you, Mike, there was a transfer sheet that I was tempted to do. I was going to do a chapter which was based on being in the water, wasn't I? I think I was telling you all, Phil, anyway, and I said I'd seen some transfers and these were the ones that I'd seen, so nice to find them again. Akai is also saying 5th of July already. Sam, I have just opened the Taunar box from when we met back in June. It's going so quickly. Johnny Rockstar, the green on my Harleys I used on a whim because it's that Hylock Oxide technical paint. That's really nice finish on that, to be honest. You managed to get that looking great, Johnny. Armour Freak saying, don't feel bad, Akai. I got mine 2 years ago. It's half built and primed. And then Phil's just posted, you can do it. You can do it. Oh, we've got another one that's just popped up. Another 2 that's just popped up. Chris Elliott, Death Corps of Krieg. I love those models. I was saying to Phil when we went to Warhammer World, we were going through the display room and I saw the Death Corps of Krieg, and I'm like, if money isn't an object, I would do a full regiment of Death Corps. They're my favourite looking army for sure, but they're just so expensive. And Gareth Rees has done a really nice Primaris Minotaur. It's a great power weapon effect there as well. That's really nice, Gareth. So this was Kiblam's posting up the vehicle earlier, the tank with all of the guns. I'm pretty sure it's a Photoshop job, just because of some of the overlapping on the tracks. I think it was that bit there. Wasn't perfect. That's what made me think it's photoshopped. But otherwise, this could pass for a proper model. And doing the upgrades that GW have been putting on all of their tanks at the moment, and all of their models in particular, I wouldn't see this as being any far from their design studio's minds. Amber Beccari. And we're getting a lot of people introducing themselves as well. A lot of people who join the chat and haven't said anything, and they just post up, which is absolutely fine. A lot of people who don't necessarily do them, and a lot of people join in and introducing themselves. Sam, if you need backdrops for displays, I could do them. Sean, that would be awesome. I definitely need at least one. I'm using black card at the moment and it looks shocking. Excessive magnetisation. I said I was going to look at KR multi-case foam tonight for him, actually. I need to have a look at that. I need to find out. Audrey. So there's a lot of people joining the group, introducing themselves. Some Wonder Woman picture from Night models. And I need to get some Night models to paint. Definitely want the Superman ones.
Yeah, see, I was looking at it before because I think there used to be some Marvel models on there, but they're not on there anymore for whatever reason.
Yeah.
So I think I missed out. So I think it'd be like Blighty cases. I need to look on eBay for them now or something. But I definitely want to have a look at painting some different models and stuff. Because don't get me wrong, I love GW models, but it's take that little break away from it because you start to paint in a slightly different style as well, away from the standard that you do.
Just going through the chat again, Emmanuel's done his orange Nurgle. Damn Ian just subscribed. Thank you, Ian. You're saying orange stands out. These Nurgle are just fantastic. I think that's my favourite colour scheme for Death Guard so far. The orange.
Is it? Are you on about the orange or the yellow?
Orange. Unless I'm colourblind. You'll see them afterwards.
So if it's the ones I was thinking of, I'm sure I was thinking they were yellow, but with like an orange wash or something on them. Ones that I'm thinking of, yeah, it was another awesome different like alternate color scheme on models again. I love seeing alternate color schemes.
Just looking at M's. I think that might be the same M who was in different YouTube name, but they were in hospital last week. Looks like he's come out hopefully well. Sean Dewitt, he's got his Wargame exclusive models with nipples out. And then the Hairy Painter, Rick Eddens, starting his Knights of Caliban Primaris chapter with black armour. I need to decide what I'm doing for my black, how I'm going to paint it, whether it's going to be certain edge highlighting. I was thinking Dawnstone Administratum, but I'm thinking now Dark Reaper Administratum or Dark Reaper in the other one. More of a blue tint to the armour. Because there's going to be a lot of black on them. In between the armour is going to be black, the actual armour itself is going to be black. Yeah, so there's all sorts. There's some more from Sean there. Right, I think that's everything from Facebook land. So it's been just over an hour and a half of actual stream time, I believe. I don't think there's much else in the chat. Gareth saying thanks. Hoxton saying a proper orc looted model. Armour Freak just bought a light box so he could start posting better pictures. I need to get a camera because at the minute I either have to go to Phil's to use his proper Canon camera or I use my iPhone, and my iPhone doesn't seem to take great pictures, so I need to buy a better camera, but that's going to have to wait, I think, till probably Christmas or something. Sam, maybe do a video on how to choose a case to fit your army or how to choose your army to fit your case. I think that's certainly something I can do. I mean, I've been through Chaos Multi, I've been on their website plenty of times, so maybe a little guide on building your case to fit your army, and then throwing away models that don't fit after that is definitely something we can do. That black has a blue tint, Sam. That's fair enough. I didn't see it. Let's have a look. It might be just a picture of them. Let's zoom. I can see it now, actually. Just on there. Yeah, I'm going to do probably a blue tint to the edge highlighting then, not necessarily the armour. Mine will be pure black with different coloured edge highlights on it. Blue horror to highlight my black. That's interesting. It's quite a bright colour. In order to mix up the black armour on my minis, I zenithal highlight with metallic black. That's another good thing as well. Go for the blue edge, Sam. Makes it look like a harder material, yeah. If not, at least you know not to do it when I've messed it up and it looks rubbish. Great show, Sam and Magic Mike. Mike, with you on taking a break from GW. Oh, with you on taking a break from GW. Enjoying painting some Corvus Belly stuff lately. Nice to work with White Metal again. Great show. An iPhone 5 or 5S have a decent camera if you're on a budget. Yeah, I've got an iPhone 6, but it doesn't do very good videos. I was trying to do a video because I'm doing a giveaway at 5,000. When we hit 5,000 subscribers, I'm going to give away some stuff. So I took a video and it was rubbish. So now I'm looking at taking pictures in a different way and just not bothering. Vaughan Killian, I have so many Death Corp models to build and paint, and you're right, Sam, it is so expensive. But Vaughan, you have, in my opinion, the best models in the entire Games Workshop range, so it's not a bad thing. I'm working on a guide for it. We'll be posting it soon. Are we able to share it in the Facebook group? Yeah, Harry Painter, no problem. We've said all along with the Facebook group, people can post to their own channels or their own groups. We've said once a week, just so it doesn't get out of order. We don't want the what do you call it, the group to become every day just people spamming posts, because the engagement doesn't really happen. You see a lot of groups where people just use it to advertise channels and groups and they don't actually talk to each other, whereas our group is very much a nice place to go to talk to other people about the hobby and actually go to engage with each other. So that's what we want to keep it as. And Akari is saying 4.7k subscribers nearly there. Yeah, it's just as a thing to give away. We've not done a giveaway since probably 1,000 subscribers, so it's been a while. We've just been going through the milestones, and I've said to Phil that I wanted to give something away, so I'm going to do it.
I don't know if the last. I'm trying to think what the last one was. It was definitely. I can't remember now.
It's been a while.
Yeah.
Anyway, it has been a long Wednesday. It's been a fantastic evening. It's only been me and Mike, so maybe we'll get Phil on Friday if he's free. He's quite busy towards the end of the week, so we'll have to see. Hopefully we'll get the beard on. Thank you to everybody who has joined us for the show, who has joined us throughout as well. We've had a nice steady number at the top. Thank you loads to everybody who's donated and tipped as well. It's been interesting to see that it's actually popped up on the screen. I might try and get a little scroll bar on the bottom just to keep going through the names of people who have donated as well. So it's much appreciated to everybody who has done that. Next what we're doing, live chat will be on Friday. I'm debating on trying Twitch out, but for the moment I'm going to stick to YouTube just because we want to try and see if having the account monetized, even if we don't use adverts on the channel, if it actually spreads to more people. And if it does, then that's great. If it doesn't, then we'll have to look at different ways. However, have a fantastic rest of your evening or afternoon, wherever it is that you're from. Have a fantastic Thursday, because we probably won't speak to you, not live anyway. And we'll see you on Friday. I'll put up the event later on, and you can all set a reminder if you want to join us for that. And we'll see you in the very near future. And we'll speak to you on Facebook. That's the best bit, isn't it? Cheers, Mike, for joining me.
It's all right.
And we've got a subscriber at the end there. Barb's Wire Muscati Social Media Editor. That's a long name. Thank you for subscribing. Mini Walmart. Orcs rules. And then Akaya says, but they spell terrible. Yes, they do. How do you know that they're wrong? I think orcs spell correctly, and we're all wrong otherwise. Anyway, that's it. We'll see you later. Credit time.